Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ajay Patel show. Let me take a quick sip of this. Oh, my name is Ajay Patel. Welcome to episode 26. Episode 26. How are you doing? How's your Tuesday treating you if you're listening on release day? Did you have a good Black History Month? What did you do? Did you contribute? Did you post a black square? Is that still cool? I'm not sure. I've heard things about, like make getting away from Black History Month, getting away from, Pan American Pan Asian Month, all these months, Mother's Day, Father's Day, like these things that were made up. I know we talked about Valentine's Day for a bit, but just getting away from it because, like, does it actually serve a significance? Like, I'm not trying to take away from anyone, right? I'm not trying to say, oh, Black history isn't important. Like, relax, okay? You know what I'm trying to get at here as far as the hoopla behind it. Like, is it worth it? The same way I was talking about Columbus Day, President's Day, there should just be a set number of holidays that everyone takes from now on. So these theatrical months, I almost say, where I went to a Target and there's shirts that say Black men smile. What? Like, yeah, obviously. Obviously, I didn't think they didn't. Like, why? I'm so confused at these places that have to, and they have to engage in this stuff, right? They have to engage the same way, during Pride Month, all these companies will change their logos to, have a rainbow overlay. So, they show, hey, can't cancel us. But it's like, okay, what is this actually doing? What is the point in this? Are you still calling someone out by, I don't know. Maybe I'm not educated enough, but I truly just think like the theatrics and the almost like the, what is it called? Performative actions that go behind these months. It's just got to go. Like, uh, obviously I'm not going to do anything behind it. And at the same time, like I said earlier this year, where I was like, okay, you know what? I just engage, like if it's Mother's Day, yeah, I'm going to go try to see my mom. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to be like, yeah, sorry, mom, Mother's Day is dumb. I can't see you today. But all that to say, how are you doing? How's it going? How are your goals? We haven't talked about our goals in a while. Hopefully everything's going good. I have basically started the year finally now in March after getting my footing from a month of the month of January, spending all the travel going on in February, and then of course it being a shorter month, and we're back. And luckily enough, next week I think we have daylight savings or daylight, the time that we get an hour back. So now when you step outside at 5 o'clock, it's not pitch black. Now the sun goes down at around 6:37. Got some time to do stuff. You don't feel like you just need to stay inside as soon as work's done. It's a good time. Now, as a lot of you, or maybe not a lot of you, may or may not know, I'm a big proponent of fast food. Like I someday, if I can get a McDonald's sponsorship, I will be the happiest person in the world. And I fully support the world of fast food. I understand it's making people obese, but I also say, like, hey, you know what? Obese people make people obese. It just is what it is. That's kind of like saying, like, oh, it's not the gun that kills people. I get it. I get it. I get it. You don't want to put the tool that makes people obese into their hands. But as far as fast food, I understand the purpose as far as, like, if you're down bad, like if you only got $1 in your pocket and you're like, shit, I need to feed myself today. There is an option. There is a 0% chance you can go into a grocery store and get something for $1 to feed yourself. Back in the day, what was it? The $5 footlong from Subway. You get this big old sandwich. $5 at McDonald's could feed a whole family. McDonald's, Subway, Burger King, Chick-fil-A, we start kind of, with the line because it just reaches a different price point. But what are some Taco Bell? Like, all of these fast food places, I love. Do I still eat them? Occasionally. If it's a late night of drinking, I want some fast food, or even sometimes just to humble myself. When things go really good in life, I'll be like, you know what? I need to go get some McDonald's. It's just to make sure I remember that my feet are on the ground. Now I understand, like, hey, like, it leads to people having high cholesterol. They're put into these low income communities. So then, people that don't make a lot only have this as an option. And that's true. And I understand, I don't know the morality behind it, but I still am of the stance as far as I support it. I support it. And I do love it. McDonald's is still my favorite. I'm going to preach on this over and over again. Now, look, fast food, Chipotle is not fast food. I understand you go through the little conveyor belt. It's fast, it's easy, but it's not fast food, right? Like we start getting into whatever category that is with Qdoba and salad. What are all these salad places called? Mendocino Farms. Damn, I can't really remember any of the other ones. But you know what I'm saying. There's a certain category of fast food. And in that category exists Wendy's. And a recent headline that's been kind of going around is Wendy's is going to introduce surge pricing, which is insane. Insane, insane, insane. Where it basically works with the so you go up to a Wendy's, hey, I want a 5-piece chicken nugget, spicy, and maybe some French fries. Wendy's has great French fries. It could range from $3 to $11. And that variability should never exist in fast food, right? Where surge pricing exists on the amount of traffic, because the traffic is going to remain the same. Wendy's is coming at this from a point of like, hey, you know what? We'll be able to increase profit margins. We'll be able to make sure that we now spread out the distribution of people. So, instead of at 1 o'clock, you have this big old rush. At 7 o'clock, you have this big old rush. We now have people throughout the day. And what I hate about that is just like, look, surge pricing in itself is just price gouging, right? Like, remember when everyone kind of freaks out? If you're from Texas, you know about this a lot more, where people start freaking out about, oh shit, like they're running out of gas. Oh snap, make sure you fill up your tank when you go home, because we don't know when you'll be able to get gas again. And so you go to a gas station, it causes this panic amongst everyone. Everyone's showing up to the gas station. It's a flood of people. You cannot get in. And then you finally get to the pump, and then you put your credit card in, and next thing you know, it's $8 a gallon. And it's like, whoa, what the hell? And it was these particular gas stations that were raising the prices because they knew, hey, all these people will be coming in. I can raise the price a little bit because they have to get it from me. There's a 0% chance they're leaving me and then going down the street to some other competitor, waiting in that line, and then getting gas from there. It's just price gouging. It's the same thing as we're talking about here as far as surge pricing, right? We've seen this. We've seen surge pricing very normally in our Uber world, right? Lyft, I don't know as much, or who introduced it, who was first. But as far as where we see it more, for sure, Uber. Like if you try to get an Uber on New Year's, you know that thing's going to be at least $100 during peak hours, right? If you're going from the airport, going to the airport, there's certain times where shit, I know I'm going to be paying a little bit extra. Living in LA, you see it all the time. Anytime past 3 o'clock, you have surge pricing because it takes an extra 10 minutes for that car to get to you, and then an extra, let's say, 10 to 30 minutes for the car to get to its destination. Surge pricing. But for that to exist in fast food, like, first of all, Wendy's, who do you think you are? I remember being very fond of Wendy's in my college days because it was downstairs at the dorm. I would get a Frosty. I would get some French fries, the classic combo. A little sweet, a little salty, dip the French fries in the milkshake, the Frosty. And it was amazing. And all that would cost maybe $2. I would grab a handful of spoons, a handful of forks and knives and napkins, and then take it up to my dorm, and I would have cutlery for the rest of the month. Wendy's was a real homie back in the day. But ever since I graduated, I could probably count the number of times on one hand how often I went to Wendy's. They introduced all these items. Oh, the ciabatta roll melt. Yeah, we have the sea salt French fries. And like I said, they do have good French fries. But still, Wendy's has fallen out of rotation so bad. And I guess me saying this is only pushing to their point as far as why they should introduce surge pricing. But I just don't get it. Like, just raise the prices like normal people. We talked about it a handful of episodes ago where it's like, if you go to a McDonald's today, it's $16. Wendy's, just raise your price. If you go to Chipotle, that thing is not $7 anymore. Guac isn't an extra 50 cents anymore. That shit, you walk out of Chipotle and you're like, did I just spend $25? That Wendy's just needs to do the same thing. Oh, the Frosty's $10? Ugh, shit. But if you introduce this variability, right? Like where I am going on a day-to-day basis, I'm not saying myself, I'm saying for the person that does, and I don't know how much I'm going to spend, I'm going to stop going to Wendy's. You got to have a reliable amount where you're almost budgeting in your head. Just like in high school, you'd have maybe $3.25 in the car and some laying around change, right? Sometimes you may have it in a stack of quarters. You get off from basketball. Before you go home, you know you don't want to eat the food at home. So you go up to a McDonald's, order 2 McChickens, a large Coke. This is back when large drinks were all $1. And you know your total was going to be 1, 2, 3, add on tax, 325. 324 if you live in a decent state. You could pay that easily. Now imagine pulling up with that same 325 and those same 3 items are now $12. Why would I keep going to McDonald's? So I think the same thing will happen to Wendy's where it's just like, yo, no, like this surge pricing where there's too much variability in visit to visit, right? It's one thing as far as variability when it comes to the food, but when it comes to the pricing, come on, man, don't mess with me like this. I'm already feeding a family of 5 with $20 in my pocket. Now you're telling me I got to get even less food if I got to come at a certain hour. I just got off work. It's the only hour I could come. Wendy's is evil for this. Someone tell that bitch Wendy that she's evil for this. But speaking of food, meanest transition ever. Is there a fetish behind, before I drop my mic there, is there a fetish behind watching people eat food? Like, I'm not trying to be nasty, right? Like, I'm not trying to be like, oh yeah, people get turned on by this stuff. But I think there is a thing behind this. And I don't know whether it's just like having the face behind. Okay. See, now we're getting somewhere. Now that I'm actually saying this stuff out loud, I'm starting to think about it where it's just like, it's one thing to have a video of, let's say, some Wingstop, right? You see Wingstop on a table, you see a video and you're like, damn, that looks good. That looks awesome. Now, a video that I'm talking about, which has become my TikTok feed completely, is this new category called mukbang. Now, hopefully, this isn't an inappropriate term. I may sound like an old head here, but I have been watching these videos nonstop, and it has instantly triggered this craving where it's just like, if I see that person eating it, I feel like I need to eat it. This world is massive, right? Hopefully everyone has at least heard of Keith Lee. I'm pretty sure he used to be in some type of boxing or MMA fighting. And then one day he started eating in his car with his family. He gave these reviews, blew up. Now, if this guy comes to your city and let's say you have a little mom and pop shop, you're not doing a lot of business, maybe a food truck, and he gives you a decent review, it could change the entire trajectory of your life. It's that much power. This man shut down the DoorDash app when they had a partnership. There is a legit thing behind this. Now, focusing on just food, right? Like we said, if the food is just on the counter, oh, nice, it looks good, I want that. Now, I think elevating it is the experience of watching someone eat that food. Guy or girl, I haven't gotten this far into the weeds as far as like, oh, is it funner? Is it more fun? Is it what's the word I'm looking for? Is it more of a do I get more of an inclination to eat this food if I see a guy eating it or if I see a girl eating it? And it may be a, person to person basis, because if I see a guy eating it, I'm a guy. Maybe that's what triggers, oh shit, I want to eat that Wingstop too. Versus if I see a girl eating it, it's like, this, like maybe we don't have the same taste buds. Obviously, sex. I'm not trying to be sexist here, but that's the point I'm trying to get at. So you elevate this experience by seeing them eat this food. But I also think this is what TikTok, and maybe it's just content in general, where it is much more pleasurable to see the person engage in the activity, right? Like if I see a t-shirt, cool, awesome. You showed it to me on this, sitting on a hanger, great lighting. You took all these shots, cool. But if you take a picture, or sorry, if you take a video of the person actually making the t-shirt and the full process behind it, this is how content has changed for sure. As far as there is an inclination of people to be more intrigued with the process, to be fall in love more with the product. I was just recently watching this show called The New Look on Apple TV. This show is great. Have a couple drinks and watch this show. If you are anything into fashion at all, like if you like certain brands, if you know, like just anything, or on top of that, it's just a good show, in my opinion. It talks about how Christian Dior and Coco Chanel navigated through World War II. World War II? Hopefully, I got the right number there. And throughout all of this, they build their fashion brand. They build their luxury couture brand. And in that show, you see people like Balmain. You see different names that I don't want to try to spew out and remember right now. But you see these names that someone that works in luxury retail, you're like, damn, how the hell does Dior afford to sell this jacket for $1,000? How ridiculous. And what's crazy is now seeing the history, right? Seeing the making of the art, I am now more inclined to be like, okay, you know what? Maybe I will pay $1,000. Maybe I am just more intrigued with the product now. Now that I saw someone making it, same thing with cooking videos. I'm a huge Gordon Ramsay fan. I'll watch those videos till YouTube falls off the face of the earth. I've learned so much from it, right? And it's one thing to show me a video of a chicken parm, but it's another thing to see the making of it. So there's definitely a world there as far as like seeing the process of it definitely makes you more attractive to the actual product. Now, I understand I'm not watching people make the Wingstop, but seeing them eat the Wingstop definitely makes me feel like, oh shit, you know what? I need to go get me some Wingstop. And this world is huge, right? Like I just mentioned Keith Lee. There's a handful of people in every city. If you look up your city on TikTok and you're like, Illinois food, sorry, Chicago food, you'll definitely see a handful of people in their car with food just sitting there. Not just sitting there. Obviously, it's presented. They have these new tables that's attached to the steering wheel, and they're eating it, giving this review, and then boom, that it can literally change the course of a restaurant. I watch a guy based in Dallas. His name's Dre, and look, he was a normal dude, just ordering his food, opening up the bag, and then there was something about it. Now, look, like I said, I do think it's a fetish to a bit, but I'm not saying I was turned on to it. But it's something that makes you, oh shit, I'm now more intrigued. This man opened up the original video I saw. He opened up a bag, grabbed the whole Popeyes biscuit, ate it in one bite, and didn't die. There's something intriguing about that. And that's the world that like all this food is in. Like if you own a little small food truck, if you own a restaurant, if you own any type of product that you want to sell to someone, you got to have a face behind it. Now on, it's this face behind the brand that sells everything. I should probably look up what the word mukbang means before I keep saying it over and over again, especially to other people. I've been like, yo, do you watch mukbang videos? And yep, it sounds like a category, but it's been this thing that's just been flooding my TikTok feed. Honestly, I got to the point where I was like, should I start doing this? Like when my friends are like, oh, like, hey, I'm actually, when you're talking like, oh, hey, like, what are you up to tonight? Like, oh, I just ordered a pizza. Oh, I just ordered this. Oh, I just got some cookies. I'm about to kick it for the night. I will. It's weird. I know it's weird. I literally send them a text. I'm like, send me a video of you eating it. Yo, seriously. I sent my friend Narain, Isha and I sent him some cookies last week or a handful of weeks ago. And I was just like, yeah, send me a video of you eating it. Okay, now that I'm saying it out loud, yo, cut this part out. Man, I have been craving some Wingstop, and I'm not going to get too into the weeds because I got some vegetarian followers, and I fully understand and want to respect them. But it's a tough divide, right? You see this on TikTok all day, and then next thing you know, you're like, oh, shit, I need to stop eating out. Like, it's going back to those goals where it's like, damn, bro, like I keep putting myself in these situations. I need to stop watching these videos. because then it's like it's a gateway, right? Oh shit, maybe one McChicken won't hurt, maybe two McChickens won't hurt, this and that. I just need to be better about it. But enough about food. Enough about food. Let's talk about this royal wedding. Let me grab my laptop so I don't read this wrong. Mark Zuckerberg. Oh, sorry. Let me start from the top. Some of the world's most influential people have arrived in India's Gujarat state to attend a wedding party thrown by Asia's richest man. Mark Zuckerberg, Rihanna, and Bill Gates are among the guests at the pre-wedding gala hosted by Reliance Industries chairman Mukesh Ambani for his son. Anant Ambani, 28, is set to marry Radhika Merchant in July. Bollywood stars including Shah Rukh Khan and Amitabh Bachchan are also at the three-day event in Jamnagar city. Mukesh Ambani, 66, is currently the world's 10th richest man with a net worth of 115 what the hold up. 115 billion according to Forbes. Reliance Industries, founded by his father in 1966, is a massive conglomerate that operates in sectors ranging from refining and retail to financial services and telecom. Holy shit. So this is the royal wedding I was talking about. Actual royalty. No, like obviously no shade to Harry and Meghan, but that didn't last, It I liked Meghan Markle. I liked her. But why were you talking so much shit about the queen? Like, you knew she was racist. To get married and then be like, she was racist. Yeah, she's 100 years old. She remembered slavery, bro. What did you expect? For her to just be like, oh, that's a black woman? Come on in. It wasn't February. So that royal wedding, like, I understand. Yes, that was a royal wedding. But this right here, this has got to be up there. This is just the pre-wedding festivities. And how this came to my feed was the emergence of Rihanna. And soon we're going to have a conversation of where Rihanna is on the scale of stardom. Because holy shit, it's been the only thing I've been seeing. And I think the beauty behind it is like, it's because she doesn't do a lot, right? She's not always out there on social media. She's not always out in public doing this and that, right? Like she sticks to herself. She does Fenty Beauty. She does the marketing behind that. People keep begging for a new album. People keep begging for new songs. You do not see any new product from her. So then when she steps outside for things like the Super Bowl, she has a child. She comes to a pre-wedding festivity. You can't help but just draw all cameras towards her. It's like, holy shit. Marilyn Monroe finally just stepped outside. Let's, like, we got to flood her. This is going to be the biggest thing ever. And this is a big deal. Like, I don't know what Rihanna's relationship is with any of the Ambani family, but rumor is that she got paid $6.5 million to perform there. And this is just a pre-wedding festivity. You got all the cons there, right? All of Bollywood's biggest stars. And so my TikTok feed has been the most confusing thing ever. Seeing Rihanna dance with Shah Rukh Khan, a bunch of other Bollywood stars, taking pictures with all these India cameramen. Like, I didn't, obviously, all due respect to Rihanna, but holy shit. I apologize if I ever doubted her as a star. Because my God, the attention that this gets, when we look back at this retroactively, it's going to be like, where was she on the stardom scale? Is she higher than Beyonce? Like, is a public appearance from Rihanna higher than a public appearance from Beyonce, from Taylor Swift? That's when we start talking. But this royal wedding, I did not know anything about the Ambani family. I've heard things here and there, right, through, different Bollywood movies, maybe through just different news outlets, and you hear it and you just kind of pass over it. But I didn't know, like, this was going on. This has been the biggest thing. Also, if you're a star like Rihanna or Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates is there, and you've never seen an Indian wedding, and this is what you get exposed to, it's a fun time. Like, you get to step away from all the nonsense. You get to come over here to India, get treated like absolute royalty because you are. You do a little performance, then you get to just indulge in all the festivities. You get treated like a king or queen. Like, it. How awesome. How does someone get invited to this? Is there like a net worth minimum? Because holy shit, people over here asking, like, oh, how do you get invited to the Diwali party at LA? I don't know. But how do I get invited to that royal wedding? Now, this is only more evidence to the fact that, look, you don't have to be that attractive. you don't, you, money speaks a lot of languages. I don't know if you guys have seen young man getting married, 28 years old. Not the most beautiful of creatures. But man, just the way I've been seeing all these videos of him talking to everyone and all this stuff, that money stratosphere, it's a different world. So for those out there that, you're looking in the mirror and you're like, today ain't a good day. Just get your money up, man. I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous. I've never wanted a big old, big old wedding where it's like, oh, this is a 5-day wedding. And then before that, we'll have all these pre-wedding festivities. Afterwards, we'll have this where all the family stays in town for a week. I've never wanted that. But I understand where, what's Homeboy's dad's name? Let me not get this wrong. Asia's Richest Man. Why am I forgetting his name? His name is, Mukesh. Yeah. I've always been a big preacher of this, where it's like, weddings are for the parents. Weddings are for the parents, for your parents to finally have that party again, where I just moved over to this country, had these kids, put them through the school, put them through college, maybe took out loans for that, maybe paid for that. I worked at the convenience store. I worked at the motel desk for 35 years, and now I get to have this party. A lot of times when the conflict arises between parent and kid, where it's like, oh, I don't think we should invite them, I don't know them, where it's like, well, they're my friend. You run into this issue a lot. For those that are about to get married, or for those that have been married, you can relate, where it's like, it's your parents' wedding. It's your parents' party. It might be your wedding, but it's your parents' party. So just get over it. Half the time they're paying for this stuff anyways. So who are you to be who are you to say like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to invite that auntie. I don't think that uncle should come. He's always creepy. Yeah, well, he's your dad's best friend. So I wonder how much of this wedding, like, if you could actually get a conversation with Anant and Radhika, how much of this wedding they actually wanted, versus like, if your net worth is 115 billion, you do have to put on a show. You do have to put on a show where it's just like, hey, you know what? We're going to throw the biggest freaking thing anyone's ever seen. I don't care about Deepika's wedding. I don't care about Priyanka's wedding. I don't care about any of these weddings that have ever happened. This right here is going to be the thing that everyone in the world will remember forever. Personally, if I had 115 billion, I would do the same thing. Honestly, I would throw the biggest party ever, because it's not even like just for your parents, right? So many of these uncles and aunties, what they look forward to in life after they've had kids and those kids are gone, things get a little dull. You work the same job you did for 30 plus years. It's hard to pick up a new hobby. You don't really have the same legs under you. So the one thing you look forward to is a wedding. You get to get dressed up. You get to see all your friends again. You get to be fed. Everyone gets to leave their house and not have to deal with all their freaking, all their responsibilities. They get to go to a wedding. That's why when you get to a certain age, right, probably more pressure on girls and guys, but when you start reaching that later 24 age, and I think this age has moved back a little bit more, every house you go to, every social gathering you go to, where there's an uncle or auntie, or even someone older, maybe some grandparents, and they're going to ask you, hey, is it your turn yet? Because that's all they're looking forward to. And I love how we as a people, we get annoyed at it. We get annoyed at it, where it's like, oh, all you want me to do is get married, man. That's all you care about. You don't care about my business or anything like that. Shut up. Like, can we relax? Can we get off of our parents' asses, or even uncle and auntie's ass, where it's like, oh, like, they need to stop pressuring me to get married. Maybe the pressure is good. As you could tell, I get all my stories from my TikTok feed at this point. I just stopped reading the news. So I will be keeping up with the royal wedding. I'll hopefully I can go get some Wingstop today. I do not have any more material for you guys today, but once again, thank you guys all for tuning in. Don't forget, why do I have hair attached to this? Don't forget to shop Express, do your taxes, comment, like, subscribe. If you just got to focus on it, just drop a like, please. And with that all being said, I will see you guys next week, and goodbye.